This podcast is brought to you by you, the listener. And if you want to be an anime addict and help out the podcast, you can go to AAApodcast.com/join or Patreon. Again, that's AAApodcast.com/join or Patreon.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at AAApodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Welcome into episode 628 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast, where our sole mission is to make your anime addiction worse. Thank you so much, everybody, that's tuning in. Those of you that are scuba diving, the skydivers, the hot air balloonists, those of you that are bull riding, I know you're listening. Thank you for tuning in. Live on Twitch every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Twitch chat is gaining momentum as it usually does. And of course, we're also
they've been deprived for a week, so I would hope so. For 2 weeks, I guess.
And on that note, I will just skip right to it. I am Mitsugi, and I'm joined by Caroline. She's fantastic. She's in Lower State, New York. Don't fucking play games with Caroline. What's up?
Don't say I'm upstate.
No.
I am an hour and a half from New York City. I can go there and come back very quickly in comparison to those living in Buffalo. Buffalo's upstate, not me.
We also have Mason. He has hair. His hair today would make anybody blush. It's just fantastic. Mason, how are you?
Why, thank you. Thank you. I'm doing well, except for the fact that it's 90 plus degrees out right now and I'm dying. I'm sweating. Everything is bad. I hate... No, it's fine. It's fine. We'll make do. I'm a little jealous. Mitz is over there just chilling in his hoodie.
Oh, yeah.
Sipping on his alcoholic beverages,
Yep.
you know, just enjoying the good life, and over her sweating my teats off. Oh, is that a Gudetama?
I'm drinking a screwdriver out of a double screwdriver out of a Gudetama cup. Yeah.
I mean, you gotta have your vitamin C, and it goes well with eggs. So there you go. But nope, we're doing okay. Glad to be back on a podcast after a whole 2 weeks off, which honestly feels like forever. Thankfully, Caroline put the team on her back with a really excellent radio hour episode, which hope you guys enjoyed. She killed it.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed sharing some of my favorite music with everyone. Hopefully, they didn't mind that it was just me and not without you guys trying to balance it out. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do it again in the near future because it was a lot of fun. I'm just sitting here after I blasted the AC for an hour and a half, just trying to get the room as cold as possible before I have to turn it off. And we do this for like 2.5 hours.
I'm already sticking to everything. I'm gonna lift my hands up and the mouse is just gonna be attached to my palms. I'm stop it, get off me. It's terrible. The things we do for you, because we love you, listener.
The things we do for you as fans of the podcast. Yeah. As I get our most epic music out. We're going to try to do a summer waifu war this year. I've been talking about it on the Discord for a while. I wanted to put together a 60... So we did the girl and the boy bracket on the podcast, but we didn't really let the Discord or any of the fans have a say about who the ultimate waifu was. There was some interest on the Discord about doing it, so I thought we would put together a 64-character bracket where people could nominate their favorite waifu. I'm putting a link on the Twitch right now for people. And you will nominate 10 characters, 10 of your favorite waifu to be in the waifu war, and I will build the bracket and the seeding based off the most frequently nominated characters. And then when the war actually begins, I will most likely open up bracket creation so you guys can make your predictions about how the tournament will go down, and then I will have a cash prize at the end. So this is really a favorite waifu event for all the fans of the podcast. If you want to nominate, because right now we do not have enough participation in this. We need to have a lot more people nominate. Otherwise, we're just going to have a really shitty bracket, and I would just pull the plug for sure. So
Okay, you got to stop being so negative because you've been you posted
just,
this. Okay, I know, but like I just want to explain to
promoting.
everyone how negative you have been, and it's been frustrating because you decided to put out this poll. What was it, Thursday night? And then within a few hours, you're like, I don't know if we're gonna do this, guys. I mean, we're just not getting enough participation. It's only been 3 freaking hours, and you're gonna have this poll out for 3 weeks. It's
a very tested sort of joke on this podcast that if I put a poll out and say, how many of you are interested in doing something? Like 90% of people will say, oh yeah, I'm in 100%. And then like when the time comes to like put your balls on the table and pull the money out and do it, almost nobody falls through. So, but anyway, so I'm hoping we can do this. If you want to nominate, you can go to our website, AAA Podcast. There is a strip across the middle of the page. You click it, you write your 10 favorite waifus. You're off to the races. You can check social media. Caroline has some fantastic images that she's made for the event. So you can check Twitter, Facebook, etc. for links on the nominations. And of course, on the Discord, there's an entire conversation section for the Summer Waifu War and at the top of that and pinned into there, there's information about how to nominate there as well. So please go participate. It won't happen unless we get a lot more people. So this is the first of probably a couple of PSAs, but Waifu War, please do it. There will be a cash prize. It'll be worth it to you to participate. So on this episode of the podcast,
I feel like the key of it is that we have to send it to all of our friends who like anime, all of our Discord channels about anime. If you have somebody that you think likes anime, maybe you should send it along just in case.
All right. Today on the podcast, we are going to be doing the over-under game. It is returning. So we will have to see what that amounts to exactly, but, over-under would be like over-under the number of times that Shin-Chan shows his ass in the first season of Shin-Chan. And then you say, oh, is it over or under 50? And then you try to guess. We'll see who comes out on top for that game. It'll be fun. And then we have a ridiculously large list of spring impressions to wrap up the season of spring 2022. We have Birdie Wing, Girls Golf Story, Deaimon, Spy X Family, Shikimori, whatever is not that. She's not just a cutie. She's not just a cutie. Skeleton Knight in Another World, blah, blah, blah. Love After World Domination, Heroines Run the Show, and The Executioner and Her Way of Life, which sounds like an isekai. Anything else, guys, before we get started?
Let's get started.
All right.
Oh, 大ニュースです. It's time for big news of the week.
All right. People may not know this, but pizza in Japan is very poor. And some of these pizza companies, they try very bizarre stuff to suit the Japanese palate. And it just doesn't mesh well sometimes with the Western palate. For example, they're really big on corn and mayonnaise pizza in Japan. It's not good. But Pizza Hut has put out a new Oreo pizza that I have an image up on Twitch, and I would like to know if Mason would eat this, as usual. So
I mean, as usual, of course, I'd put it in my mouth. I want to know what's with that crust. I don't know what part of this pizza would be the worst.
Okay, so it looks like the Oreos are in the crust, but what is that raw-looking meat on top of it?
So the pizza contains salted chicken.
That's asbestos, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Salted chicken, popcorn chicken, fried calamari, onions, a ton of cheese, and around the outside ring, in a ring shape around the outside of the pizza, are Oreos. So you've got to go with your calamari and your chicken and your onions. There are Oreos on this pizza. And
Mitch, you just listed, though, what's on the pizza, and none of those words to describe these red balls that look like someone just scooped out, like, brain matter. Like, this looks like straight out of Bloodborne, like you find oozing on a cliffside in Mensis. Like, these are just red, powdery, bumpy... I don't even know what they are, but they scare me, and I'm frightened. I'd still eat it.
They look like pieces of meatball before it's been cooked.
It looks like corned beef, actually, is what I would say it looks like. But I actually don't know what it is. I just want to know if Mason would eat this pizza that is known as Pizza Hut's new Oreo pizza. I'm looking for the price, $13.40. It's only available in one size. I'm sure it's not Mason sized.
It's not.
If I were to
Mason's
call
size
this
for
anything, it would be called everything but the trash bag.
I can tell you right now that the Twitch does not like it. But would you eat this, Mason?
I'll tell you right now, the cardboard box it comes in looks more appetizing than this.
Oh, God.
I would say if I went to a party and someone's like, we got it as a joke, but it actually came, we need someone to take a bite of this. Like, I would probably be selective with my choice. I mean, I don't know what would be worse, like the middle part or the Oreo crust part. But
okay, so I mean, I don't think the Oreos would be that bad. It would probably just taste like some sort of dry
cheesy
dessert.
Oreos? Ugh.
But how's like baked Oreos
the
gonna?
cheese isn't really on that part though.
Yeah, this is like I don't like it. I don't like it.
Mason wouldn't eat it. He's not gonna eat it.
I mean, I would put it in my mouth. That's what I'm saying. But I'd probably be like, like I mean,
I'll tell you what.
That's what he wished you said.
I think the only kind of person that would possibly maybe sort of eat it would be like a pregnant person, because I feel like when you're pregnant, you have like these weird cravings, and you just and sometimes something that just looks disgusting is actually the thing that a person's craving for when they're pregnant.
I mean, that looks like if someone was pregnant and they're like, honey, partner, I want Oreos, I want pizza, I want Funyuns, I want this, and I want them all now. And, and the person's like, does she want it all at once? Does she want like separate orders? I'll just put it all on one cheese platter and hope that's what she wants. Like that's, my goodness. Yeah, it concerns me. I'm deeply disturbed.
All right.
But, yeah, you give it to me, I'll eat it. I'll try it. I'll let you know it's bad.
I'll have some with you, honestly. Pizza in Japan sucks. Caroline, you're up.
Okay, so I just have a couple quick things here today. For one thing, if you haven't heard, Mob Psycho 100 Season 3 just had a teaser go out. I believe it was like a week or two ago, but we weren't here last week, so we didn't really talk about it. So teaser trailer is out. Hooray, hooray. It's going to have an October premiere date, so very exciting. And of course, it announces more of the returning cast and staff members as well. We have a link so you can go to see the teaser on our show notes, or you can, I don't know, just look it up yourself. It's probably not that hard to find. So there's that. Very exciting. Also, there's an update about the new Makoto Shinkai movie that is supposed to be coming out on November 11th called Suzume no Tojimari, or Suzume's Door Locking. So I'm excited to see this one because it doesn't sound like the typical Makoto Shinkai plot. As good as the movies look, and I enjoyed them, I'm kind of glad that we are going away from the old lovers separated by space and time thing that he has a really big thing for. So the news is that the movie will be released worldwide in early 2023. So we now have a general idea of when we'll be able to see it. Crunchyroll will be handling the North American distribution, while Crunchyroll and Sony Pictures Entertainment will handle it in Latin America, South America, Australia, New Zealand, the Middle East, Africa, and portions of Europe. And then Crunchyroll and Sony Pictures Entertainment and Wild Bunch International will be releasing the film in French and German-speaking Europe, in case that pertains to you. Now, the movie is described as a road trip movie around Japan as Suzume encounters mysterious doors that unleash destruction when opened. So I'm interested to go see it. So I'm glad that we now know around what time we're going to be able to.
I'm no longer interested in Makoto Shinkai, sadly.
Just now, just because of that sentence, and this is like, don't be opening those chaos doors, you dingus. Problem solved. Okay, next movie.
Oh, she's trying to close the doors, Mason. She's not opening them herself. Well,
at least I don't think them. I guess we'll find out.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's just that his movies are all the same, and
this one seems a little bit different, though, and at the very least, they are gorgeous movies.
He's just making movies to like be blockbusters in theaters. I mean, you know, how dare he like money? But
how dare he like money? The real question I have is Radwimps? Question mark.
Brad, what?
Probably. I think they're in the I think they're in the teaser, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know what you just said, but I like it.
The band that Makoto Shinkai movies often have is the Radwimps.
All right.
The last two movies he had, yeah.
I think you're up, Mason. I'm going to sip my screwdriver.
Okay. Once again, not real big news for me, but more wildly unexpected to the point where when I first read this, I thought this was just an odd little joke. But Adult Swim announces Rick and Morty, the anime.
No way!
So, yeah, Adult Swim announced on Wednesday that it has greenlit 2 new anime series, one of which is Rick and Morty. It's directed by Takashi Sano, who did Tower of God, and also did some 8-minute Rick and Morty shorts. So this is a thing, but this will be 10 episodes long. It will be kind of an original work based on stuff that happened in the show, and it will premiere on Adult Swim and HBO Max. Have either of you watched any Rick and Morty? How does this playing off for you?
I haven't.
A little bit. I mean, I don't know.
So what's your expectations from terrible to why?
Pretty fucking horrible. Why?
Okay,
I don't know.
yeah.
It's I don't know. I tend to get annoyed by things that have too much hype, and I just can't. When the 97 millionth person goes, "Oh my god, Rick and Morty," blah, I'm just like, I don't give a fuck.
But he's a pickle. What? I'm kidding. Yeah, I have no strong opinion on this, but I'm sure someone's like, wow, this is something.
Whoa.
I just wow. I wanted people to have that same reaction. So it's a thing. It's real, and good for Adult Swim.
My wife, she's very nice. They're the best prostitute in all Kazakhstan. Yes.
What?
It's a reference.
Eat a jelly bean for a reference I don't understand. Do I need to eat a jelly bean for inappropriateness as well?
Double down, baby.
You might as well.
Chomp.
Okay, so 2 jelly beans. In case you are a new listener, you have no idea what I'm doing. I have a jelly bean eating game for references I don't know, anime that I haven't watched, inappropriateness and fitness references, and I did eat one for fitness references before this episode
jelly
started.
Beans in the garbage.
So,
Mitsugi over under. Caroline eating 25 jelly
I just want
beans.
Caroline to realize that she doesn't have to eat the damn jelly beans and just throw them out. First of all,
Mitsugi, this is where you're wrong because
not good for you.
won these, what used to be 1,095 jelly beans fair and square, and therefore it is my obligation to eat them.
Yeah, and your pancreas is screaming.
Actually, I'm doing quite well nowadays, and maybe if it's all goes well, maybe I will be able to finish them by the end of summer.
All right. Well, that was the big news of the week. Not a whole lot this week, my opinion, but I'm sure that there will be a lot of good news coming along here pretty soon. So, are you guys ready to play the over-under game?
I am.
Oh, shit. Whoa! It's time for the over-under game. The game where we try to guess whether things are over or under. That's pretty much what the over-under game is.
This is like a limbo myth. Explain.
How many anime came out last year? Over or under 200? How many panty shots are there in episode 1 of Agent Aika? Over or under 200? And then you try to say if it's over or under. Correct points for right answers, 0 points for wrong answers, and whoever gets the most points at the end, well, you'll have some bragging rights. So, and you guys can play at home too. So, that's pretty much the rules of the game. We each came up with 5 questions, and so there's 15 total. I'm going to keep track of the scores over here. And we're just going to go through these, and whoever doesn't ask the question is going to, field answers from the other 2 people, and you'll just merely pick over or under. There will be no pushes in this game, so keep that in mind. There will be no ties, and I'm going to kick it off here with the first question, and I think it's going to be a very self-explanatory game after that. So, do you guys have any questions?
No.
No. Do you think the listeners will do better than us? They usually do.
Probably not. I think we're smarter than they are.
Ooh, play along
challenge.
at home.
Well, I seem to recall someone getting their faces wrecked in the last Family Feud game, and you see, you can't even talk shit. It was a brutal massacre, and you know it. All right. So the first question here, you guys, this is going to be this is a real question, but we'll call this the warm-up, okay?
No warm up. So this
No,
is
we don't
round
need a
2. We
warm-up.
got this.
Oh, okay. All right. So question 1 from me is, how many TV anime are listed on my anime list as part of the spring 2020 anime season? And you're guessing over or under 45 and a half anime.
2022 or 2020?
2022 spring.
Okay.
Current season. How many anime are there? Over or under 45 and a half?
I am going to say over.
I was going to say over as well. I know AniList, which is not Mal, obviously, but they also include, like, not just like the airing shows, but shorts, stuff that came out on Netflix. Like the new Vampire in the Garden stuff on Netflix is also on there. So I'm going to say over.
The answer is over. There are 51 anime in the spring 2022 anime season. So,
all right.
Well
Excellent.
done. Yeah.
We did good.
So now you have a good sense of how this game goes. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Caroline, would you like to go next?
Yes, I got my question here, which is, how many movies are in the Naruto franchise?
Oh my
Over or
God.
under 12?
Wow.
And this is any sort of movies. Recaps,
Any movie
anything?
could. Okay, so as I've looked up on
12.
multiple websites, there is an a good answer. I don't know if they have like recap movies, to be honest, but they do have
Okay.
official movies, and I am including Boruto in this.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to say over, and if you tell me that it's under, if you tell me it's under, I'm going to argue that it's like recaps or something will get me the rest of the way. So I'm going over, because it's always
I don't
more
think
with
that-
Naruto.
I don't think that there's any official recap movies.
Okay.
So
I
if
don't
anything,
know.
that if they are, it's not included.
You give me something Naruto, I know it's going to be over. That's just how it is. So I'm going over.
12 is a lot, though.
It is.
I'm going to say under. Why the fuck not? Caroline kind of made me
Okay.
feel like it was under with her comment just now. So I'm gonna say under. So
Naruto movie.
The answer is under. There's
Yes!
11 movies.
that's right, Mason. Take it.
No, it can't be. It can't be. It can't
Oh my
be. I
God,
don't
Caroline!
believe you.
Caroline Mason's in disbelief.
I don't make the rules.
Wow, fantastic. There are. Hey, Pancake, did you know, Pancake, over or under 12 total Naruto movies? She's thinking. She says over.
No, you're wrong,
Wrong.
Pancake.
Loser. Lahoo. Zaher. All right. Okay, so that's fantastic. All right, Mason, how does it feel to be felled by a man with no hair while you have such beautiful locks?
Thank you.
It's rare that Mason's ever losing to Mitsuki.
It's weighing me down. You know,
I had no fucking clue. I just guessed.
I
All
assumed it was under 2 based on the way she phrased it, but I'm sticking to my guns. So I'm trying to go with a range of questions. I think some of you will have the edge in some. I think some of you won't in the other. Here's, I think, a good even one to start us
This
off.
double screwdriver is delicious and strong.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, wait a second. Here,
You
wait a
like
second.
person for screwdrivers.
She
now.
who talks shit has arrived.
Speaking of double screwdriver, where the fuck is my vape?
Oh, I don't know where your vape is. Speaking of double screwdriver, good luck finding it. The three objects that Pancake loses every single day: the vape, her phone, and her keys. Okay, Mason, you are up. I can't wait to see what you have for us today.
Number 1, Golden Kamui. Over or under 33 tattooed prisoners, known as the Abashiri convicts.
Half
So
of that
Golden-
meant nothing to me.
In Golden Kamui, there is a treasure that they're trying to find. And the map to get that treasure is tattooed across X number of prisoners. And you have to find all the prisoners, cut off their skin, and stitch together their skin to make the map. How many convicts have the tattoo that they need to find? Over or under 33?
Under, baby.
I'm just gonna go with whatever the opposite of Mitsuki says because I have no idea. Over.
Oh, because you presume that I don't know what I'm talking about?
No, it just doesn't matter either, one way or the other.
Okay.
Well, the answer
under.
is under.
Yeah, that's right.
There
Take
are
it.
24
Take it.
criminals. Don't
I'm
worry,
all fucking-
I'll ease up on you guys next time. I'll ease up.
That was a hard question, Mason. What the fuck?
Mine
are so easy.
Clear. Well, I figured neither of you have watched the show, but people who'd watch the show, I got to give a bone to the audience, you know? They might have missed one of the first two, so I sympathize with them.
All right, so the score after round 1 is I have 2 and you both have 1. So I don't know how this happened. It's just dumb luck because I'm really not very smart. So, all right. What does Mitsugi have in store next? Get ready to eat some jelly beans, Caroline.
Oh dear.
Just
How
kidding.
many?
I'm just kidding. How many TV anime on my anime list from spring 2022 have a score greater than a 7.5? Over or under 12.5?
I'm going to say under.
7.5.
Over or under 7.5?
As of today, looking at this, as of yesterday
As
when
of
you made
right this second.
Doesn't really matter.
Okay, May 22nd. Well, you know, as things go on longer, the scores tend to drop, has been my experience. So,
Well, sure, but is the answer going to affect your answer?
no, but I'm trying to think. So most of these shows are on episode 7 or 8, which means they're most of the way done, which means they're dropping. Once again,
Okay.
Annie list, though, you said 7.5 is the score?
Over or under 12.5 anime with a greater than a 7.5?
Okay, I'm going to go under. I think it's been long enough in the season where those shows, their scores have dropped below the 7.5.
All right, Caroline?
Yeah, I also said under.
The answer is under.
All
There are
right.
12 anime greater than a 7.5. And in order, Spy Family, Kaguya-sama, Kingdom, Season 4, which I gave up on Kingdom early because Season 1 looked so horrible. But Kingdom is like routinely in the high 8s on my anime list, and something is there that I'm missing out on. So I feel like I need to pick Kingdom back up. Yeah Boy, whatever, Kongming,
Hell yeah.
whatever. Summertime Render, Komi-san, Season 3 of Bookworm, Love Live, whatever, Aoashi, the soccer anime, Date A Live, some anime no one gives a shit about, Machi Kaido, whatever, Succubus, Dance, Soar, and that's it. 12 anime.
Stop it.
So
That's
well
like
done.
5 jelly beans right there.
Should have called it Dance Dance Dinosaur. Then I would have been all in on it.
All right, Caroline, you're back up, and I am ready to kick some ass. I'm ready to kick ass and chew bubble gum. And I'm all out of gum. All right.
As of Season 2, Episode 1 of Komi Can't Communicate, how many
God.
quote-unquote friends does Komi have? Because we all know that they're not her real friends. Is it over or under 15?
Well, I feel like she had basically no friends still at the end of Season 1.
They specifically say how many friends she considers
That's
at this
so
point
stupid.
in time.
Oh, yeah.
And in an interest for having that show ever end, hopefully sooner rather than later, I'm going to say over.
I feel like it's under, but I feel like there could have been some like, oh, she did one big event
Time
and
skip.
it made her like a ton of friends. Like the whole class loves her. 20 friends. Like I'm gonna say under. I don't think she's made that many friends yet. So under.
The answer is under. She has
Oh,
13
fuck off.
friends that they
Don't call
have
the
counted
comeback.
at the beginning of Season 2.
I call
Nice.
bullshit. God, that
Nice.
show's never
Nice.
gonna fucking end. God, is she ever going to? We're gonna end up watching Season 2 of that shit, and you guys know that, right?
I mean,
it's definitely happening. I can't
Yeah.
wait for another 13 episodes of like, dragging poor Komi into situations that she can't handle, and her parents are like, she doesn't need a therapist. We're just gonna let her suffer, because that's how it goes in Japan.
how Japanese people sound. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll go with an easier one for you guys next time. Are you ready? You guys
Yeah.
ready?
Mhm.
I'm a wimp. Okay, take pity on me, and I'm drinking. Okay, come on.
Okay, here we go.
What
I
you
think you
got?
both have seen this one. Made in Abyss.
I haven't seen it.
How many layers are there in the abyss? Over or under 6?
Jesus.
I'm going to
Yeah.
say over.
I'm gonna say over because that'd be so lame. Oh, there's 3 layers. Pancake. Made in Abyss. Over or under 6 layers in the abyss?
It's like Dante's Inferno, right?
She's just like standing here in her underwear, basically. She's like,
Thanks for sharing.
well, today.
Well, isn't there 7 layers of hell?
Oh, she's like, it's 7 layers of hell. She says over. Okay, what's the answer?
It is over. There are
Boom.
7 plus layers to the abyss. So.
Yes, because I remember them like mentioning the 6th layer, and if that's the over or under point, it has to be more than that. So yes, haha.
All right.
Good job,
Well,
both of you.
Yes, thank you very much. I feel very fulfilled. And at the end of round 2 of 5, we all have 3 points.
All right.
All right. Now for the real shit. Get ready. All right. All right. Question 3. How many animation cells were used to create the movie Princess Mononoke? Over or under 150,000, 150.5 thousand?
I am going to say over. I just feel like it requires a lot, and 150,000 is a lot, but I feel like even more than that is possible.
Going under. I think it's less than that.
All right, so you guys split. Caroline said over, and Mason said under.
Yeah.
The answer is under.
Ooh.
Princess Mononoke actually had a fair amount of minutes that were done in CG during that movie. It was a pretty early usage of CG, but because of that, the movie only had 144,000 anime cells in its creation. So that's and if you ever get one of those cells, I will be unbelievably jealous. So. If Studio Ghibli ever needs money, they ought to just pull those cells out and just auction them. They'll probably make they'll make millions of dollars.
Yeah. I'm sure they don't need it right now.
$100 million. I don't know. I think they have a lot of money. They make tons of money off character goods. They're kind of like Disney. All right, Caroline, I'm looking forward to your third question.
All right, here we go. As of ReZero Season 2, how many times has Subaru died? Over or under 15?
Oh, it's way over.
It's got to be over.
Way over. He died 15 times in episode 1.
All right,
I'm
so
going over.
Over.
Are you certain?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel pretty sure. Yeah. If it's wrong, I will eat my hoodie.
1 second. Oh my goodness, I keep on what stupid.
We're not counting different ways that he's died. We're just counting every time he's kicked the bucket. It's got to be over.
It's way over.
He died 17 deaths by the end of season 2.
God, I would have guessed like 50. It felt like 50.
I feel like those bunnies alone tore him apart like 6 times.
I know. Brutal.
I feel like he died and woke up again like at the very beginning of season 1, like at least a dozen times. He must have gone.
He died the most deaths in season 1. I read like a big majority of it was in season 1.
ReZero is good, but I just don't know if I'll watch. When more seasons of that come out, I don't know that I'll watch them. I just don't give a shit anymore.
Oh no, I liked it. I will definitely continue.
Good. All right, Mason, you're up. Question 3.
Question 3. Card Captor Sakura. We all know a normal deck of card has 52 cards. But in Card Captor Sakura, they have the Clo card. So, over or under in the anime, 52 Clo cards.
Wow.
I'll say over, but I have no frame of reference.
I'm going to say over as well. I'm going to say it's 100.
Okay. Well, in
guessing.
the manga, there were 19 of them.
Oh, fuck.
But in the anime, it was indeed over. There were 53. So you guys both get a point.
How the hell did they go from 19 to 53?
You got to make lots of episodes, my dude.
Oh, no. Epic amounts of filler. Caroline, did you get that right?
Yes.
All right, that's a lot of filler. All right. Very well. After round 3, I have 5 points. Caroline has 4 points, and Mason has 5 points. So Caroline, you're a little behind, but you know what?
All right, I'm doing my best.
I believe in you. I believe that you will win this game.
That is a lot of faith that you should be pointing towards your waifu war idea.
Well, over or under us doing the waifu war? Yes or no? That's a fake. That's a joke question, and the answer is probably no.
Yitsugi, come on. We put all this work in already. We might as well do it.
All right. I really want to, and I want to give some money away too, but we got to get people to nominate. Go to the website, people. Click the banner down the middle of the page. Write down your favorite, your favorite waifu. Okay. Question 4. How many total stands appear in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders? Only We're not talking, everything else. Just Stardust Crusaders. Over or under 40.5?
Again, no frame of reference. I'm just going to say under.
There's like 52 episodes in that series. So, Pancake says over.
My gut says over. I'm trying to do is a newsstand introduced every episode sort of thing. I'm going to say over.
The answer is under. There are 35 stands, that including hero and villains, in Stardust Crusaders. Caroline, as I predicted, steals one. Oh my goodness.
I didn't steal anything. I earned it.
It's going to be pretty hard for you two. You two are going to have this like epic hair battle where like you're going to get in this fight and your hair is going to be all tangled. And I'm just going to be laughing at you.
Well, Mason's already going to cut his, so I've already won.
I think Mason should like spike his hair up when it gets short. Take it to about an inch, spike it up. Unbelievable.
I told Mason that he has a list of different hairstyles that I want him to do before he cuts it. He needs to curl it at some point. I want to see it straightened. I want to see it pigtailed. I want to see French braided. I want to see whatever else they can think of.
You know what I would like? Because Kazuo always let me down. I would like a pompadour 1 week. Listen.
I don't think you can do it with this length. I don't think.
Horse shit. Make it happen. Listen. For those of you that are just listening while you scuba dive or whatever, I am completely bald. I shave my head twice a week. Okay, completely. I am never gonna have a pompadour. Please make my dreams come true. Okay? Can you do that for me, Mason?
Maybe in the future.
Oh, come on. All
right. So shall we get to my question?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. My fourth question is.
Bring it on.
How many anime are on my Mal currently watching list right now?
Watching?
Over or under 15?
Oh my goodness.
How many anime am I quote unquote currently watching?
Currently watching, she says with air quotes, knowing that she's currently watching 3, but the list will
Barely.
have
It's sporadic.
I'm gonna say over.
I feel like I don't know how often Caroline cleanses her list. Part of me thinks she would be like, oh, I'm getting overwhelmed. There's too many. I got to pare it down. Part of me is like, she's watching stuff for Anime Club. She's watching stuff for the podcast. She's watching stuff on What Have We Been Watching. Like, she watches a lot of stuff. And it could be more. I'm going to say under. I feel like she isn't going to betray my trust like this.
I'm over. Show me potato salad.
It's over.
Yeah!
18 anime on my currently watching list.
How many are you really watching? How many are you really watching right
Mason,
now?
you should have taken into account the fact that we are in our impression season. So therefore, I'm watching a ton of anime. Quote unquote, currently watching a ton of anime.
No, you're not.
Because I have to watch several episodes in order to decide what I want to choose.
And you're still watching all of them? All the ones
because I haven't updated it yet. Because also, I'm pretty sure that
accurateness.
There's a few that I'm planning on continuing even after impression seasons, even if we don't pass them. There's of course the 2 that I have or will be passing, and then there's just the accumulation of all the shows.
You're telling me there's not at least 4 shows you're going to either put on hold in the next, if it was actually up to date? You're not telling me that? There's not 4 shows.
I'm not denying that. I'm just saying it has not been done yet.
Doing me dirty. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
You should have realized how lazy and how procrastinated I am.
I'm feeling
this fucking vodka. That's what I'm feeling, to be honest with you.
I'm feeling targeted.
I wish I had a screwdriver. That would be fun.
We'll go make one.
Nah, I can't do that. My parents are downstairs. They would look at me very strangely.
Oh,
tell them to make you one. No problem.
Duddles.
I'm feeling targeted being the Annie List boy of this podcast.
Mitsugi, I will have a drinking episode with you at some point. Mason, you can have like a glass of milk or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I love milk.
I'm gonna eat 2 edibles and play Spyro the Dragon all night, so I'm just a degenerate. See, this is what happens. You move to Denver, you just fucking fall apart. You're like barely human. I'm like phytoplasm that like.
Denver is not the land of dreams. You just fall apart.
No, but it's
you're at the Welcome to Denver sign, and then you just crumple to the ground.
It is the land of drugs, though. I'll tell you that right now. All right, Mason. Question 4.
Question 4, Attack on Titan. Over or under 90 episodes of anime? 90.
90. Like as of
I
as
think
of what?
As of right now, up through the end of season 4, part 2.
I think I am gonna go with over.
I'm going under. I think it's like 88.
Well, it was 87 episodes of anime, but there have been 8 OVAs, bringing the total to 95.
That's horse shit.
Yes!
There's no
I've
count.
Gone
Those
ahead.
are full episodes. They're not movies. They're not any bonus stuff. They're just anime.
I'm sitting here.
And
I'm
we're
writing.
counting that.
I'm sitting here with my Excel spreadsheet. I'm like, season 1, 26. Season 2, 13. And then Mason busts out the OVAs.
It's 25, 12, 22,
official
28
episodes.
for a total of 87.
How about I bust out my pee-pee? Would you like that?
How about you bust one
Okay, that deserves a jelly
in your
bean.
screwdriver and get
Cross
that
the
extra
line
protein?
there.
Because I'm hearing you're in bulking
Appropriate.
season. That would do you some good.
I did have a PR on bench press on Saturday. It was pretty good. I felt like I was superhuman on Saturday. It was ridiculous. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Nice,
All right,
nice.
I'll take the loss, even though I call horse shit. Mason's like, how many episodes through season 4? I'm like thinking TV anime. Now we're pulling OVAs out.
Yeah.
Aaron Yeager, I hate him. All right, after round 4, I have 6. Caroline has 6, and Mason has 5 points for Mason. My prediction might come true. Let's see. Are the Lightning going to sweep the Panthers? Because
Yes.
yeah, they are just destroy, and they don't even have their best player. I think the Lightning are going to win again. All right, we're on the final round here. Still anybody's game, really. My final question to you, with love and peace.
With love.
How many volumes of manga did Osamu Tezuka write? Over or under 700? 700.5. How many volumes of manga did Osamu Tezuka write? Volumes.
It doesn't matter what number you say. Whatever you say, it's over. He always writes more than you think. It's always more. It's always more. That's just how it is.
Caroline?
I suppose I will go with under.
The answer is over.
Damn it.
It's actually not specified on the website I used, but they did say it was over 700. So I'm going to assume somewhere near 700, but over that amount.
I mean, my argument would have been if you said under, I would have said, well, he wrote more than you knew and that he published, so it's more than that. So yeah, of course it's over. He wrote 1 billion volumes.
We now all have 6 points, the mark of the devil.
Yeah.
I feel like after this, we'll need to have like a tiebreaker if possible.
All right, we might. Okay.
Okay, people, start formulating tiebreakers, okay? But don't
Okay.
include the answers because that will ruin it, of
You're
course.
not going to need
So
it because
Twitch
I'm
numbers, please.
because I'm
do
going
so.
to win this fucking game. Caroline.
Okay,
Final question.
my last question here is: how many years has it been since the first season of The Devil is a Part-Timer? Has it been over or under 8 years?
Oh my god.
I don't even remember when I watched it, so 8 would have been what year?
2014.
2014.
I'm going to say over 8 years.
I'm going to say, I wanted to say over, but I feel like we can't have ties. So I'm going to go with under.
The answer is over. It's
Yes!
been 9
Yeah.
years since
Yeah,
the first
I knew
season of The Devil's a Part-Timer. And we're going to get the second season and the summer season. Woohoo!
All right. I'm very excited right now. Okay. Mason, you're on. You're taking us home. Take it home. Its bags are packed. It wants to go home. Just tap it in. Just tap it in. Give it a little tappy
Okay,
tap.
what
tap,
reference
tap,
is
tap,
that?
tap,
I feel like
ooh.
It's
What's that
Happy
reference?
Gilmore.
You haven't seen
Okay,
Happy
yeah.
Gilmore? So all right.
No.
So side tangent. I put Happy Gilmore on the other night while I was brushing my teeth because I was like, whatever. That movie is incredibly difficult to stop watching. Every scene of that movie is just on point. Every scene. There's no stopping point. God, when he fights Bob Barker, it is so epic. God,
You're going to die, clown.
I hate that Bob Barker. Caroline, you have to watch Happy Gilmore.
I have
Fucking
seen parts of it, but I just can't get into the fact that he has the mentality of a child, and yet here he is lusting over a woman.
Good news. Arts and crafts
Weird.
time has been extended by 5 hours today. My fingers hurt. What's that? My fingers hurt. Oh, well, now your back's going to hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty. Anybody else's fingers hurt? Ben Stiller is great in that movie.
And before it drops he doesn't drop the AC on the neighbor. Oh, the deep lore. Here we go.
Okay, all right. Last
This
question.
was planned from the beginning. It might lead to a tie. In Naruto.
We need a tiebreaker in the chat.
Another Naruto question? God.
I've been evening the odds,
Fucking
Naruto.
ridiculous. All right.
Over or under 80 students from Kono Hagakure taking the Chunin exam in the anime.
Jesus. At the beginning?
In the beginning, how many students with Naruto, including him, were taking the Chunin exam in the anime? Over or under
I cannot
80?
recall.
I'm drunk, and I'm going to say under. I'll ask Pancake after Caroline answers.
For the sake of competition, I'll say over.
Pancake. How many students took the Chunin exam at the beginning of Naruto? Over or under 80?
The tuning exam?
Yeah, the Chunin exam.
Whole fucking thing.
In Naruto's town specifically.
In his town, in Naruto's town.
Okay, I thought you meant as a group in the town.
Over or under?
Can I change my answer? I'm gonna go under, actually.
Every village.
She said over. But
So,
she said
in
every
the
village.
manga, there were 87 students.
Oh, damn
But
it!
in the anime,
Wait, but in the anime,
there were 72. So the
72.
answer is under.
72 in the anime. In just
Yes,
Naruto's village.
Just in Kono Hagakure.
You
Just
see,
in
I call
Kono
bullshit. There has
Hagakure.
never been that many kids in that village. But at least I got the correct answer.
You both got the answer correct.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then in that case, I have 8 points. Caroline has 7 points, and Mason has 6 points, which means, oh my God.
Mitz is dancing excessively, gesturing excessively and aggressively towards his crotch. So that's the mental
that's
image.
another
you should
jelly
have.
bean to go.
He was so intense. Ripped off his headphones. They came apart at the seams. How
I am the smartest man
does it
alive.
feel to win a game ever?
I don't win very often, so when I do,
Sweet.
I'm often drinking the
sweet,
screwdriver
sweet
while I play.
victory.
How many years has this podcast been a thing again?
13 years.
Over
13
under.
years of being a failure. Here you are in your
That's
victory.
right. I have nothing to show for it. Wow.
Oh my goodness! Congrats.
Well, that was fun.
It was. It's always fun doing this game.
Did anybody not have fun?
I lost, so.
I had fun.
But you
That
didn't
was
get
fun.
last.
Okay, yes, Mason got last. Ha 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 ha. Let's head into the weekly trivia question. In Spy X Family, what test subject number was Anya formerly known as? And we will reveal the answer after the news break.
Hey, Anime Addicts, Mitsugi is here and I'm bringing you your anime news break. And there's not a whole lot of news this week, but there are some new anime adaptation announcements. But first, winners of the 46th Kodansha Manga Awards. Starting with several categories, including Shonen and Shoujo, won by the Reincarnation as a Slime anime, which took the winner in the Shonen category. In Shoujo, Hoshifuru Okoku no Nina, which is subtitled as Nina of the Starry Kingdom. This has taken the winner in the Shoujo category. And for the general category, Hakozume Koban Joshi no Gyukushu, which is subtitled as Well, I don't really know. Police in a Pod. There you go. So very familiar. I think that's coming out already this season. So if you are fans of these properties, rejoice. They are the manga winners, and if you haven't checked out these manga yet, you may want to do so. Next up, as promised, the new adaptation announcements, Kubo-san wa Mob, or Yurusanai, or Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible, is getting a TV anime. Director Kazuomi Koga, who worked on Kanojo Okashimasu, and is done by Studio Pine Jam. So Studio Pine Jam has not done a tremendous amount of anime, but they did do Gamers, Gleipnir, Just Because, and a few other anime that we did cover on this podcast previously. The synopsis is about high school student Junta, who has a simple goal to live a fulfilling youth. However, achieving his goal appears to be harder than expected, as everyone in the surroundings often fails to notice him due to his lack of having a presence. There is even a weird rumor going around class claiming that those who successfully can spot him are blessed with good fortune for the day. So it's a pretty interesting sort of take on a school slice of life. If you're a fan of this type of property, look out for the Kubo-san Won't Let Me Be Invisible. Also, Fire Force is getting a third anime season, so those of you that are big fans of Fire Force, it adapts, of course, Atsushi Okubo's sci-fi manga, which has 20 million copies in print. David Production did produce the previous 2 seasons that were 24 episodes each in the summer of 2019 and 2020, respectively. So you will be getting that third season coming out. We won't cover it on the podcast, but I'm sure a lot of you will be excited. And lastly, Saikin Yatota Meiga Ayashi is getting a TV anime in 2022, subtitled as The Maid I Hired Recently is Mysterious, directed by Mirai Minato and Misuzu Hoshino of King's Game, and done by Studio Silverlink and Blade. The synopsis: the beautiful maiden Lilith has recently been hired to care for the whims of her employer's son. However, overzealous skepticism of her every action keeps him on edge as he suspects devious mischief is being plotted behind his back. Despite his paranoia, Lilith grows fond of Judy and often teases him as a way to further their bonding. So a very cute story, I guess. If you're a fan of this one, there's a lot of conversation going on online about it. Look out for The Maid I Hired Recently is Mysterious, coming out sometime soon. Here they say July 2022, so maybe sooner than expected. This was Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break, and now time to get back to the podcast. What did the anime addicts say when asked who would win in a battle between a magical girl and a team of Pokemon?
Who doesn't want to spin around, glow, and have all their clothes fly off?
Anime.
The battle stops when you do it. You don't have to worry about getting shot. Like, no one ever thinks, oh my god, she's changing. Quick, shoot her.
Addicts. First of all, I would say that my Pokemon would not be enticed by your nakedness. 12-year-old breasts and ass are not going to entice my Charmander. Anonymous.
Yes.
I'm eating a sandwich calling my bookie because I just stomped your ass. Podcast. Visit the Anime Addicts at www.aapodcast.com and iTunes.
Hey, this is Joe Zeej, voice of Claude from Fire Emblem Three Houses. Welcome back to the Anime Addicts podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. And SpyX family, what test subject number was Anya formerly known as?
Guitar solo in the middle of all that, huh?
007, baby.
Could that be a reference to something? Nah, I doubt it.
All right. And if you subscribe to the podcast, you can get our exclusive RSS feed, get all of our exclusive content, our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after parties, all on your favorite mobile podcast apps. We're talking Podcast Addict. We're talking Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, CastBox, Overcast FM, Downcast, Your Cast, My Cast, Caroline's Cast, The Dog's
All of our
Cast,
casts.
Oh my God, so many casts. So if you go to aaapodcast.com/join or Patreon, you'll help to ensure that this podcast continues to exist the way that you enjoy, or really at all, really for that matter. And you'll also be getting all that extra content just the way you want it, just for you. So, all right, and now it's time for mailbags.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag.
Oh, I was too busy coughing to dance. But welcome to the mailbag section, where you can participate by going to our website at aapodcast.com, hitting the mailbag button at the top, and leaving whatever it is that you want to write. Just about anything we'll read. And we got 2 short ones for you today. First comes to us from Raggedy Doctor, who writes, "Hey AAA, I was looking for an anime drinking game to play and wanted to know if you had any suggestions. Ideally, it would be a game for a ridiculous show like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or JoJo's. Much love." Mitsugi, you are 1 to 2 screwdrivers deep right now.
Yeah.
Any drinking games for the good doctor?
I say you drink a full shot every time Dokuro kills Sakura in Bludgeoning Angel Dokudo-chan. You're going to be really fucking drunk, and you're going to have a ton of fun, because that anime is wild. So.
And it's only, 4 episodes?
Baka!
Could it possibly die?
Here it comes. Are you ready?
Ready? Sing it, Caroline.
I don't know the words.
Dokudo-chan. Right.
Banger alert. Caroline, you have any drinking games to suggest?
I just feel like there are a ton of great ones online. I would come up with that one, but I've never seen Yu-Gi-Oh! And I've never seen JoJo's. I could probably come up with a couple fun ones. I mean, here I am doing my own jelly bean eating game, so I already have one set up for the podcast if you want to do a drinking game to the podcast.
Yeah, there you go. We're a ridiculous show.
But yeah, unfortunately, I the only thing I can suggest is to just look one up online, because there's just so many of them.
There are. I don't think I realized it, but Yu-Gi-Oh! And JoJo had drinking games, and I was like, oh, there's plenty more I could do. Like, oh, Arakawa Under the Bridge. That already has a drinking game. Like, I looked up so many shows that I thought would make for good drinking games, and they already exist. So you don't need me to tell you one. But so I did find a show that did not have a drinking game. That is a wild show and trippy, so maybe it'll work. It's called Trapeze. I've talked about it before, but it's really good. So here's the rules. You drink every time Irabu changes form, a previous episode's character makes a cameo, or a doctor instructs you on a medical condition. You also take a drink for every uplifting moment, 2 drinks for every depressing moment, and you finish your glass every time a nurse gives you a shot or Denki Groove plays. And that will get you quite inebriated.
How about every time Mayumi looks hot?
Sure. Throw that in there.
Mayumi-chan.
Whenever she gives that shot, you're like, oh, what am I watching and why am I drinking this entire beverage? You'll find out if you watch Trapeze.
I got a shot of vitamin M.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The next mailbag comes to us from Doom Kangaroo, which is someone I want to write more mailbags just so I can say that more often. Do you want to read it, Mitz?
Doom Kangaroo writes, "Recently we heard the anime that your mother would be ashamed to know you watch. On a more wholesome note, though, I have recently been thinking about anime that I could use to introduce my parents to the medium. I was wondering what anime you might use as a gateway anime for an older couple of conservative parents. A few I have thought of are Violet Evergarden, Your Lie in April, Cowboy Bebop for my dad. Any thoughts? Thanks for making my anime addiction worse every week." Well, because of the nostalgia and because of its mature themes, I think Only Yesterday, the Ghibli movie, is a really great pick. I think a lot of older people can relate to being nostalgic about their younger years, and Only Yesterday fits that bill pretty well. In the same vein of Ghibli, From Up on Poppy Hill is sort of nostalgic, sort of middle of the 1900s anime, about just a simple life in a sort of an island town in Japan or a coastal town, and it's a fantastic movie, honestly, and well undersold, I should add. Also, I recently was talking with a coworker at work about true crime, and she was like, "Oh, my daughter loves anime," and I was like, "Yeah, your daughter and everybody else these days." And then I was like, "Well, how about I recommend an anime for you?" So I recommended Monster for her, and she watched all 75 episodes or whatever in close to 2 weeks, which is pretty quick.
Wow.
So Monster is still apparently very bingeable for older people. This lady's probably 50, so Monster's more in your true crime sort of vein, but the ladies love true crime for some reason, so you might want to give that a try. It is fucking awesome.
For me, it was kind of hard to think of one. I mean, if we're talking specifically about my parents, because, they are conservative, they're older. Unfortunately, my mom, I think that she would just be automatically disinterested in animation from the get-go, no matter what it is. And then also is the fact that I feel like the kind of shows and movies that she likes is not really in anime, so automatically she's a lost cause. My dad might be slightly easier, albeit I also doubt it would work. Maybe March Comes in Like a Lion. He loves chess, and shogi is kind of similar to that. And overall, it's a very not weird kind of anime that older parents might be turned off by. It's a serious drama. Maybe they'd be a little bit weirded out by the character designs because they are a little bit more unique in this show. But even so, I'm doubtful he would like this one. But I feel like overall, March Comes in Like a Lion is a pretty good bet for a parent.
In before Caroline's dad starts singing the Shogi Cat song around the house.
Oh, no, I don't even put that image in my head.
I don't know why. Silver Spoon and Kids on the Slope were two shows that popped into my head. And there we go. We'll leave it at that. They're good shows. They eat food. People love food. I'm
not going to lie. From Up on Poppy Hill is probably, no joke, one of my favorite Ghibli movies. It is so undersold. People really should give that movie a watch. It is actually, considering it's Goro Miyazaki, pretty fucking phenomenal. That movie is just as good. For me, that movie is just as good as Kiki's Delivery Service. I'm just gonna
if you think it's so good, where did it rank in your top Ghibli movies episode when we did that? Huh?
It was probably pretty high. I probably had it
around
number 8 or 9, probably. I mean, there's Ghibli movies that just can't be supplanted, like Spirited Away, for example. Yeah. But, oh boy. All right. Well, thanks for the mailbags, guys. Again, AAApodcast.com/mailbag will get you to where you write mailbags. And while you're there, do everything else that we offer you that you can do as well.
Like the waifu wars.
Like waifu wars. I mean, come on. We try to do nice things for you. If you want to have a waifu war, if you want to find out who the real top waifu is amongst the anime addicts, get on the website, get on Discord, get on social, find the link, click that shit, nominate your waifus, think lovingly about them. Oh my God, I love Darkness. I love, whoever the fuck it is. Just nominate. Okay, get it done. You guys ready for impressions?
More than anything, since you are already thinking about stopping all this,
pulling the plug,
I think we should unite the anime addict listeners and say, we want to prove Mitsugi wrong. We want him to say, yes, I was wrong. That is the goal. So do it.
Yeah, good luck. Time for impressions.
Impression time, believe it.
All right, impression time, believe it. We got a lot of impressions to do. We have passed 4 animes so far from the spring season. We got 2 more to go. Shield Hero Season 2, Aoashi, Summertime Render, and yep, it's your boy, Kong Ming.
Your boy.
It's your boy. All of those passed. So we have 2 more to go, and we're going to start with Birdie Wing. So Birdie Wing is one of mine. It is oh my God, and the score on my anime list right at this moment is a 6.66.
Ooh, it's a bit under par.
Wow, that's a bit under par and a little bit of the devil. Yeah.
Wow.
So, okay, Birdie Wing. So, Birdie Wing, it's about this. I don't even fucking know what this anime is about. It's about this girl whose name is Eve and another girl named Aoi, and they are rivals in golf, I guess. And the girl named Eve has this skill that she's been using to win betting, I guess, in golf. Like she betting people that she can do things in golf or whatever. She has a skill called the Rainbow Bullet, and she vows to beat her foes and conquer the world of underground golf using only 3 golf clubs, which kind of reminds me of Tin Cup a little bit with Kevin Costner, which is a great movie. However, Eve knows no defeat, and the universe where Eve knows no defeat is, of course, kind of pulled out from under her when she plays a clean game with this girl named Aoi Amawashi, who's a golfing prodigy that isn't an idiot and plays with more than 3 clubs. And in the second episode of this anime, they play in this golf tournament, and I think it's the second episode. They play in this golf tournament, and it's actually really good. I'm not gonna lie. So the first episode was pretty stupid. I mean, honestly, like, this is golf. You're not really supposed to be driving golf balls through trees and all this nonsense. And by that I mean like driving the golf ball through a solid piece of wood. I don't mean like you hit it through the branches and it happened to go through. I'm talking about like Happy Gilmore, like super powered nonsense. I guess it depends on what you want from golf, but like for people that follow sports, golf is a very traditional, reserved, polite gentleman's sport, and it's never going to change. They're not going to change the rules. They're not going to bend the rules. Nothing. Golf will never change. And it certainly isn't about like powering up and driving golf balls through tree limbs and all this nonsense. That is just not how golf is. It isn't. If you want to,
it would be if people could do it.
if you want to dunk a golf ball, if you want to dunk a basketball over some person in like Kuroko no Basket, fine. Basketball has a lot more room in it for silliness. Golf does not. So I'm stepping out of episode 1, pretty much everything up until the tournament of Birdie Wing, thinking this really isn't that good. I mean, the characters are goofy. They look silly. They're doing silly stuff. It doesn't really feel like golf. Honestly, if they just plugged silly characters from like Hot Shots Golf and dropped them into an anime and made them play real golf, I would have been pretty all in on it. But unfortunately, they don't really seem to do that in this anime. They did have one episode where they played a golf tournament, and they did the whole thing where they're like, showing their scores, and it's like, to save par, she's got to chip this in. They do that whole thing where they're showing the scores changing. She got an eagle, so her score, she's two more under par than she was before. That was a great episode. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you how the episode turns out. It's unimportant. But if this anime could just stick to playing golf, like Happy Gilmore had golf. There was a tournament. They follow the scores in it. You were able to follow along as a viewer. Tin Cup, Kevin Costner, same thing. Tournament. There's drama in the tournament itself. They show you the scores. You're invested in who wins. Birdie Wing, that one episode, same thing, quite good. But then the following episode of Birdie Wing, after the tournament, they like play some girl who's like a fucking vampire or something, and then they have some facility where they can generate a golf course like in some giant warehouse using a computer. It's just silly.
Why can't Birdie Wing be more like Happy Gilmore?
It really, if it had been, it'd be. Well, that's a great question. Yeah, but it's not, unfortunately. Birdie Wing, it's just not that good. It's a little disappointing. I wouldn't mind watching the rest of it. I don't think it was like a painful watch. But if you're looking for a sports anime about golf, I just think Birdie Wing is a little too silly. And unfortunately, people that are interested in golf, they don't even like people celebrating when they play golf. Like if you chip in for birdie, like you're not supposed to do a fucking backflip and pump your fist. Like it's really considered a no-no. Golf just has no room in it for that kind of stuff. So unfortunately,
just tap the upside.
Are you doing tap it in? Just tap it in. No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 All right, one down.
All right, let's head into the moment that everyone's been waiting for. Spy X Family.
Oh, now, here it comes.
People have been living under a rock and don't know what it is about. It is about a secret agent. His name is Twilight, and he is under mission. He's in an undercover mission where he's spying on a rival country. They're in the middle of like a Cold War right now, so he is sent to live in the other country to gain a family, a wife and a child, put that child through the most prestigious school so we can become close and keep an eye on the top ranked officials within the country, because that's where all their kids go to school. So he's sent there, and he has to figure out his own means of obtaining a child and a wife within a very short time span. So he goes to an orphanage and he picks up this girl called Anya. And one of her little secrets is that she is actually an Esper. She has the ability to read minds.
Oh, come on.
So because she has that ability, she knows what Twilight is up to. Like, he doesn't go by that name. He goes by, what's his undercover name? I forget.
007.
Cornholio.
Cornholio?
No, it's not.
Give me one second.
Do you have TP? TP for my bunghole?
What's his name?
Are you ready?
Darn it.
Do you want me to look it up for you?
Lloyd. It's Lloyd Forger.
Oh,
Lloyd. Okay, so he has a daughter now. Hooray, hooray. But he needs a wife in order to get through the interview part of the what's it called? Of the interview part of getting the daughter into the school. And apparently there's no excuses for not having both the parents in attendance. And apparently that also includes the fact that, I don't know, a parent might be dead. It's just such a stupid rule. Anyway, so he gets acquainted with this woman called Yor. Yes, her name's Yor. And she is actually experiencing her own issues being single in this country because there is a Cold War going on. Like, there's a lot of pressure put on a woman who is not married, who doesn't conform to all the social standards. So now she's worried that she will be arrested just for the fact that she's not married. So she she makes a deal with Lloyd if he pretends to be if her boyfriend at this event coming up, she will go as the place of the mother during this interview. And things happen, and it turns out that they both decide, you know what, let's just get married, like legally married, just for the safety of both of us in our situations. But the thing is that she does not know that Lloyd is actually a secret agent, and he doesn't know that Yor is actually an assassin. So she's doing all this assassin stuff, and they have no clue about each other or anything like that. But Anya knows everything because she's the one that can read each other's minds. And it's funny. It's so interesting. The characters are great. It's just great. I don't think that this show is going to be about the drama between these two countries. More about the family dynamics and the characters. But either way, I am very excited to see more of this show, and it really isn't as overhyped as I thought it was going to be. It's perfectly well hyped because it's so good.
I heard it.
However,
Uh-oh.
There are so many good things this season, and I know how much people love this show. So I am comfortable with leaving this to listener choice in the poll, so they can vote this show in to be reviewed in full, and I can be free to pass a show that might not otherwise be passed. So, fail!
I'm gonna play the drop that a lot of people are feeling about you right now.
Yeah, probably. People must hate me. I'm sorry. I'm selfish. It does deserve to be passed. Compared to even all the other shows that I have passed these. So, okay, Summertime Render is pretty good. Compared to the show that I am going to pass today, I would pass this more than the other. However, since I know this will pass listener choice, without a doubt, I am comfortable with doing this.
I'm going to laugh if it doesn't.
Just imagine.
Okay, well.
Wow.
There you go. Caroline abusing the system.
I'm sorry.
Always.
Yep, I know. I'm going to abuse them.
No uncertainty in the world anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You're up. You are up, Mason.
I will. No, not me. I'm up. My first show I'm going to talk about today is Heroines Run the Show. This is a Les Deuce studio, which I say
Les
only
Deuce.
because
Les Deuce.
it takes minutes
I'm
to
gonna
say
lay a
that.
deuce.
And this is on Crunchyroll. And my themes for today's picks, I had themes my last two. These are fine working shows, and that's kind of how I would describe this. It's fine. It's actually better than expected. I would recommend it maybe kind of sort of for fans of Ouran High School Host Club or Fruits Basket. But essentially, the show follows Hiyori, who is the engine, the focus and heart of the show. She's just an not a ahoge laden protagonist who is just
Ahegao.
goes off. No, not ahegao, ahoge. Big difference. She leaves her hometown in the country to go to Tokyo because she wants to do track and field. She is like, man, this place has a team. It's competitive. I can do this, and it's great. And she goes to the city, and she's having a good time. And she gets a call from her parents that their father like blew out his back and is kind of struggling, and it's maybe a little financially tight at home. And she's like, dang, that stinks. I don't want to be a burden on my family. They have to spend like all their hard-earned money on me to go to high school here. It's a big bummer. I should go out and get a job to help ease their burdens. Great. She's awesome. So she goes out and she needs to find a job that lets her, make enough money to pay her living expenses, but also lets her still go to school and be on the track team and all this other stuff. So it's kind of difficult to find a job that meets what she needs, but she finds a job to be like a manager for a music group. And she's like, cool, flexible hours, high rate of pay, thumbs up. I'm all about that. It turns out that the musical group that she becomes a assistant manager to is an idol group of which the idols are two of her classmates. And boy, does she not like them. And they are big old dirt bags. They're a bunch of idols that are all, uppity and persnickety and look down on her and really everyone and have a bunch of issues. And she's like, wow, I really hate these guys and this job, but I kind of need it to live. So I'm just going to do my best at it. And she is just so gosh darn Genki and just a good go-getter. You feel good for her. You want to cheer for her. She's like just aware enough. She's not clueless. She picks up on clues, but she's grounded. She's realistic enough where you're like, okay, yeah, you go, girl. And we can all relate to dealing with crummy coworkers. So she goes around and it's not really like an idol show. It's more of a, manager to an idol show. She goes around getting them, drinks, sorting through their fan mail, running errands all over the place. And it's fine. No, it's predictable. Some of the voice acting is questionable. If you won an actual idol show, you're probably a bit disappointed. And it's very standard. The shots, they communicate, but there's not really flash or pizzazz to them. You're not going to ever be like, wow, the Sakuga are amazing. But you know what? It's fine. And I'm not hating on it. I actually enjoy it more than I thought I would. The problem is, I don't think anybody cares about this show. And normally that doesn't bother me. Like, I love finding shows that no one is talking about and being like, hey, this is great content. You guys are missing out on it. But the thing is here, Heroine isn't great content. It's fine, if we're being frank, but it's kind of standard at the same time. So my plan was to fail this show and give either one of my co-hosts another pass or you listeners 4 choices for the votes. But considering that those are the same people that passed Realist Hero and Ari Ferretta and Shield Hero and Realist Hero again, no.
I didn't pass Realist Hero again.
No, not again. Not again.
That passed me, then Spy Family would have gotten in. Bada bing, bada boom.
No,
Realist Hero is so great. The listeners picked it.
I'm not trusting anybody with this. I will take my idol management simulator and fall on this sword of my own volition. I'm going to pass this show despite the fact that nobody cares. Nobody wants it. I don't think people really even love the show. But it just has enough to it that I also want to shake up the boat like Caroline. So we're passing Heroines Run the Show. And damn, I might regret this, but we're doing it.
I'm not fucking leaving. The show goes on.
I think this is your version of passing Shield Hero.
I don't know. I don't hate the show, and I didn't really like my others that much. So, who knows? We'll see.
All right. My next anime is Shikimori is Not Just a Cutie. This is one of the highest, most watched animes of the season. Let's see here. Supposedly, this anime is the fourth most watched anime of the season. So, just ahead of Komi-san. Well, actually, it's quite a bit ahead of Komi-san. So, Shikimori is Not Just a Cutie. It starts off with this guy named Yu Izumi, who is like a total klutz. Like, they even make a point of making a gag out of the fact that he can't really walk. Like, he can't even like leave his front door to go to school without falling on his face. He's just like a totally oblivious disaster. And then his girlfriend, Shikimori, who is very cute. She's not just a cutie. She is like, I don't know, like the perfect girl, I guess. She's like athletic, smart, like, you know, stands up for her man, you know, even like saves him and like pulls him out of traffic and all this. And they're just like dating. And, but, you know, this anime does give you, right off the bat, more of a relationship than you might expect from most anime. I think they like, you know, they're holding hands. I think they might even kiss. I can't remember exactly. You know, I love you, all this. Like, it's a relationship already as the show starts. It's pretty funny. This anime was more of a sports anime in the first 3 episodes than most sports anime that we get. There's like a pretty interesting volleyball scene that's like 10 minutes long. Where Shikimori is like, you know, she's good. There's like a few scenes of other sports as well where she's also exceptional because she's just like, you know, the coolest girl in school and probably the most beautiful too. And I just kept thinking like, this is the best sports anime of the season until I saw Aowashi, and then that's definitely the best sports anime of the season. But the unfortunate thing about this anime is that while Shikimori is cute, while there is some fun stuff that happens, it's just like nothing really of consequence occurs in these first 3 episodes. It just is a meandering sort of, like, let's just go through the motions at school and then let's sort of be in a relationship when we're out of school. Just meandering sort of storyline. And as we know, I don't really care for these because they're boring. And that's exactly how I felt about Shikimori. And I think that most people agree. It doesn't have outstanding scores online. My bet is that this one might get picked for listener choice because it's being so vastly watched. But honestly, I just don't feel like this anime is worth watching. Like, nothing happens in the first 3 episodes other than some cool sports scenes, and I don't even know what the fuck this anime's plotline is. Like, there's no real conflict. I don't really understand what makes it interesting. And so this is an easy fail. It's unfortunate, but I kind of expected that after I watched the trailer.
That is one big pile of shit.
I'd like to say who to recommend the show to, but there's so many rom-coms out there, and this one is just not going to be in the top, 100 list. So, you know, you'd be better off watching, a Kare Kano or even some trashy shit like Domestic Girlfriend, probably. You know, Horimiya, take your pick. You know, you could go watch Dress Up Darling. You know, there's a lot of anime, and this one is just utterly swallowed up by the ocean that is the rom-com genre. So
dang, we're giving the listeners such a tight field to choose from. This is fun.
Would you rather to watch Aharen or Shikimori?
Shikimori for sure. Aharen is just dumb as fuck. That anime is terrible. She's moe as shit. Everything in that anime is dumb. The comedy is brain dead. I mean, it's like Aharen is like, let's create comedy by painting these situations that would absolutely never occur ever in real life, just for the sake of making this joke work. But then you realize that people look at that and they're like, oh, how can you make a whole episode out of the guy's fly being down? He would notice, someone would say something, she would say something, somebody would say something, and no one would give a fuck in real life. Oh, your fly is down? Okay, thanks, zip. Wow. It doesn't have to be this crisis level 40-minute saga about his fly being down. Aharen is absolute bottom tier trash garbage.
And people know what to vote for now on the listener choice poll.
Yeah, that anime can get wrecked. All right. Let's see who's next. We have Caroline.
Listeners definitely went out of past Shield Hero season 2. I'm looking more into it. There's no way. That's not possible.
Let's talk about Love After World Domination. Now, this is another, rom-com, I suppose, but it's also a parody of Sentai anime or Sentai shows in general, because here we have a group called the Gelato 5, and they use the power of flavor like strawberry and peaches and that kind of stuff. It's stupid. They don't take it seriously. This is a show that does not take anything seriously, and it's all the better for it because it is so funny. I love this show. Okay, picture this. Red. We got Red. He's Gelato number 1, or it's like the power of strawberry, whatever. He is in a group. He's in the Gelato 5, and they go to fight off these minions all the time, especially the Reaper Princess, their leader. And she is actually just like one of the captains or whatever within the large evil organization hell-bent on, destroying the world or whatever.
World domination.
Yeah, they don't really specify any of the evil stuff that they really want to do. It's just all lighthearted, that kind of thing. So she is the Reaper Princess. She has massive bazoombas.
Yeah.
She is scantily clad. You'll like her, Mitsuki. Look up a picture.
Pillows.
Yes, she is very scantily clad, but she is really cute. And he, after meeting her for the first time, is just so taken by her.
I bet he is.
He's like, what is this feeling? And then he comes to realize it's the feeling of love at first sight.
Oh, please.
And so he's wondering, what do I do? He's kind of an idiot. And he actually mentions it to the leader of like their scientist leader. I don't know what you would call him, but he's like that stereotypical old guy leader who's giving them all their special gadgets and all that. So that guy says, you look like you're in love, And he says, I am, but it's kind of complicated or something like that. And then the guy says, you know what? You just have to go for it. You just have to follow whatever your heart desires, not realizing that he's in love with one of the main villains. So he takes his advice, he runs with it, and he goes up to Reaper Princess when they get a moment alone together. And he just confesses how he feels about her. And she is a little bit surprised and apprehensive, but at that point, she just gives it a try. And then...
I like it so far.
Yeah, and then almost immediately, they are just having a grand old time together, like every single time that their two forces meet to fight battle. He says, let's take this somewhere else, Reaper Princess. And and then they just go to a separate location a little bit farther away from the rest of the group as they're being shot out with laser beams and all that kind of stuff. Here's these two idiots. And they're having the cutest little picnic dates. They're just hanging out. They're holding hands. They even get to feed each other at some point.
Oh, so much
labu-dabu. Oh, man, it's adorable. And they are so great together. But all the while, they're trying to keep it a secret from both of their organizations that they're in a relationship with each other because, for obvious reasons. And it's all taken very lightheartedly. It's very, get like all these like little moments. It's not really a big overarching plot except for the fact that some people find out about their relationship and all that, and their relationship actually progresses farther than a lot of rom-coms that I've watched.
It's not saying a whole lot. So they so their fingers like graze each other for a second.
They feed each other food. What is more? That's
they end up feeding romance. Each other food. and they hold hands. And they eventually get to that. But yeah, so honestly, I've been enjoying this show a lot. People are saying that it's like a guilty watch, like, why am I watching it? It's so bad, but I don't know what they're talking about. It's a lot of fun. So, unfortunately, because of the nature of this show, where it's
but fuck it.
There are so many great things this season, and unfortunately, it's kind of just one of those shows that doesn't really need to be reviewed in full in order to get the whole point of it. So I highly recommend you check it out, especially if you want to see some like Sentai parody hijinks and a cute little rom-com. Go ahead, check it out. But unfortunately, unless it passes on the listener choice poll, we have to fail it.
You? How about new?
Caroline just drowning in good picks.
Yeah,
I
she's
know,
like,
I had a
"This
really
Where
is
were all
great."
these shows
What
last
can I say?
season?
He's
Poor
saying,
Shane.
"Where were you, Caroline? You dropped the ball."
I'm
do
saying
you
where
mean
were
I
these
dropped the
shows
ball?
in winter? We needed these shows last season.
Yeah. You should
Oh,
have.
well.
You should have flown to Japan, gone to the studio, cracked the whip, and got that shit done a season earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
What were you thinking?
That's
She's
anyway.
speechless.
Can't
Oh,
handle
sorry,
it.
I wasn't paying attention. I was reading the Twitch comments.
That's
Nice.
fair. It's fair that you weren't paying attention.
It's
All
probably
right.
What did
smart.
you say?
Nothing.
It's
Nothing.
really not- it's
She'll
really
never
not.
know.
It's really not
Aw,
important
until I re-listen to the podcast when it publishes.
until you blah 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 blah. Okay.
My
Who's
final show to talk about is Deaimon.
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 Recipe for Happiness. This is a show that I think a lot of people and the listeners in the Discord thought I was going to pass. And honestly, it's a show I thought I was going to pass before I even watched it, just based on what it was. It's another one of those Yashike healing shows. Tells a story, very simple one, of Nagomu, who is the son of this family who owns a sweet shop in Kyoto. He leaves for Tokyo for stardom. He wants to be a musician. He wants to live the big city life. And it really doesn't work out. And after 10 years, he returns home and he's like, hey, mom, dad, family, I'm back. I'm going to learn how to do sweets. I'm going to take on the shop. I'm going to be, the successor to your sweets, not an empire, but what they've been building of over generations. And they're like, cool, thanks. We actually found a really hardworking 10-year-old named Itsuka who she's got it put together, and we kind of like her a lot more than you. So you're welcome to come and help out. But she's we're gonna put our money on this horse. And he's like,
So rude.
sure, fine. Okay. He's not bothered by it. And really the story is really just of the very carefree, easygoing Nagomu kind of clashing with the headstrong nature of Itsuka. And they just kind of, in each episode, find a customer or employee or problems within themselves that they encounter, and they're like, hey, let's help out. And there are different ways about going about it. They solve the issue and everyone gets happy endings, and it's all nice.
Happy endings.
Yeah, the characters look like they got mayonnaise slapped all over them, so
I bet they
maybe
do.
they just got white streaks all over the place.
That's what happens when you give a happy ending.
Yeah, exactly.
Jellybean to go.
Hey,
But
I'm
the
not the one that...
background-
Listen, Mason said it.
You said it, my friend.
You said it. You like, I'm covered in mayonnaise.
No. This
Doesn't matter who said it. I'm ending it.
This is a very alright looking show. The characters look fine, whatever, but the background art I really enjoy. It almost is like a watercolory aesthetic. It's not watercolor, it's too refined for that, but it just has a nice soft palette. The characters don't look like they fit within that show, but overall it works pretty well. It's nice and calm, but the gags, the funny parts of the show actually go over a lot better than most even comedies. So it's not a terrible watch if you are into this sort of thing. The issue is Heroine, when I pass that show is just fine, but it feels different enough. It's not an idol show. It's not a working show. It kind of felt like if my favorite pop idol made it to Budokan, I would die, where it just takes something and approaches it from a different lens. Daimon, on the other hand, is probably a more competent show, but it honestly just feels like a lesser version of other classics. It doesn't have the humor of Barakamon. It doesn't have the foodiness of Sweetness and Lightning. It doesn't have the healing quality of Bunny Drop. It doesn't have the found family of Somali and the Forest Spirit. I could go on, but Deaimon is good, but it's not top of its class amongst its peers to make me want to pass it. I actually watched a ton of episodes of the show trying to give it a chance to sell me on it, but it just never grabbed me. And it's I can see why people like the show. It's not terrible. It has the music, it has the vibe, but it just doesn't hit the same way that the shows I like in that genre do. So if you know you like it, give it a shot. It's not bad by any means, but it just wouldn't give us much to talk about. And like Caroline said with her show, you watch an episode or two, you got it. You kind of know where it's going to go, and there's not much more. So I'm going to be failing the show, but it's not, a bad show by any means.
I will be surprised if it's above a 2.
All right, I think I'm up again. My last impression, we have reached the end, is Skeleton Knight going out to the parallel universe, or Gaikotsu Kishi-sama Tadaima Isekai e Odekakechu. Well, where do we go from here? So let's see. Skeleton Knight started with a rape scene right at the beginning. In the first minute, some like vagabond or brigand or whatever the word is like holding down these two like cute girls, and they're just gonna, give them the, they're gonna do
fun. I've seen Goblin Slayer. Where does this go?
Basically, yeah. And then for absolutely no reason whatsoever, that happens. I don't really care, honestly, but other people will care. So, it's they don't actually do it. Like the Skeleton Knight comes in and saves them. Right in the nick of time. So one day, a gamer played video games until he fell asleep, and when he woke up, he found himself in the game world as a skeleton. So with a powerful weapon and armor and avatar, it looks like a skeleton. He's doing the isekai thing where he finds his way in the fantasy world where he's been dropped into. And, I had the same feeling about this anime that I had when I watched Overlord. I was like, it's really dumb that your main character looks like a skeleton. It just is. I can't get around it.
Skeletons are cool, though.
Nope, they're not.
No?
Facebook seller Honda-san begs
they're so
to differ.
spooky. They'll attack you when you least expect it.
Skeletons are supposed to be like in graveyards or in like level 1 of a dungeon in like Diablo 2.
Or a Japanese bookshop trying to get by.
Or you.
Underneath your skin.
Inside my skin, there is a skeleton.
Yeah.
Not in your skin. Underneath.
It's like the titans in the walls that are between your skin and your
I need more
muscles.
Screwdriver.
But my favorite skeleton of all has to be Skullface bookseller Honda-san. There's no competition.
Sorry, we're distracting you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, not really. I mean, this anime is pretty much not good. I mean, it was obvious from the first minute. And the skeleton thing is just stupid. And it just goes down the same motions that all the other isekai fantasy shows have done, which is, let's go to the tavern so we can take on, like, low-level guild quests. It's every anime. It's always like, oh, you're a D rank, and now you have to take on these D rank quests, but he's, like, way more powerful than a D rank, because he just, like, gets dropped into this world, so, of course, he's, like, mad overpowered. And I don't know. Unfortunately, there was just really nothing in these first 3 episodes that I found to be particularly engrossing. Quite the contrary. I just found it annoying that he was a skeleton and unbelievably forgettable. I would absolutely. There's so many anime that are so much better than this one. Like Grimgar Fantasy and Ash came out like 10 years ago. Great show. Not that different than this one. In terms of being dropped into a fantasy world and not knowing where you are. Grimgar, much better, much more realism, a lot more hardship, much more interesting. I'd rather watch Goblin Slayer. A lot more action scenes. At least it's controversial. People are all got their feathers ruffled. Whatever. You feel kind of naughty when you're watching it because it's got all this controversy. This anime just has nothing going for it. There's like elves in it and stuff. So if you're obsessed with elves, maybe that works for you. But honestly, this show just didn't do a whole lot for me. And I think that there's a ton of stuff that's better. Like I'd rather watch In the Land of Leaddale, which like another.
We're watching that next week, so you're in luck.
That anime sucks too, but like I'd rather watch that than this one. This anime is just. At least I don't have to like. You're either looking at a guy in full armor all the time, which is stupid, or he's a fucking skeleton. You realize how dumb that is? I mean, give me a fucking break. I don't have
Skeleton's
a drop.
dumb.
So
Do not
dumb.
like. Nah.
It's fucking, yeah, it's dumb as shit, you know, and, yeah, you know, this anime is not good. This is probably my least favorite out of the 7 or 8 shows I watched for the season. So, fail.
Oh, damn.
Even worse than Aharen?
Yeah, I'd probably rather watch Aharen than this one.
Oh.
Wow. That is bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. Anti-calcium agenda.
Yeah, it's just bad. Bad, and super generic. All right, we're on the last one now. I think it's Caroline's
Last but
turn.
not least, let's talk about the Executioner and her way of life, which is also an isekai.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it's not. It's an interesting kind of isekai.
I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
You see, we are, as the viewer, we are not being isekai'd into the world where this takes place. We start in this fantasy world with a girl. I'm really bad with remembering names right now. Yeah, so I'm just gonna, while I look up
Lloyd.
It's your girl.
No, it's not Lloyd.
Lloyd again? Another Lloyd?
It's not.
You mean to tell me you've had an extra pair of gloves this whole time? Yeah, it's the Rockies.
Okay, I guess that means I need to take another jelly bean. Is that also a Billy Madison or whatever?
No, you have to be pretty dumb to get that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was some Dumb and Dumber.
That's good then. I'm not dumb.
I feel like girls are just not good at quotes from movies. Like dudes are great at it. We remember.
That's a stretch. Come on.
Well, you are walking evidence of this. Pancake is also terrible at quotes. She can't do it. I know 100 quotes from like 5 or 10 comedy movies from the 80s and 90s by heart, and I can just shout them out. No one ever gets them, except Mason.
And that means since you met 2 girls that are not good at it as
they just
you
don't.
are.
They're just not good at it. Girls just don't quote movies.
Oh,
That's a
God.
dude thing. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
I think girls don't watch Dumb and Dumber because they're better than us, and I'm sure many girls do, and I'm sure many girls know all the quotes for Dumb and
Fair
Dumber.
enough.
But what were we looking up?
Let's
The name
move
of the
on.
place?
I was looking up her name. Okay, so our main character's name is Menno, and she is a girl in this fantasy world. She is a priestess in this world where there's 3 factions, basically. There's like the commoners faction, then there's the nobles, and then at the basically first class is the Faust. The Faust are kind of like the religious group of this world. And they also engage in a lot of magic. One of their main things that they really focus on is making sure that any isekai people from Japan, specifically they just pop up sometimes, but they can be extremely dangerous because they have something called a pure concept. And that means that they have like this extremely large potential power of some sort, like it's specific to that person that they get isekai'd. And when they use it more and more, they have a bigger chance of it causing an extremely destructive event that could end like large amounts of people, destroy lands, could even destroy the world depending on how big it is. So it is their goal to make sure that any of these isekai people, no matter how nice they are, no matter how good-natured, they have to assassinate them. That's just how it is. And Menno is one of those assassins. So we even open up on the first episode. The first episode is probably the best episode, where she has to kill one of these isekai people. The magic system in the show is very good. I love it's just more interesting than the other magic systems that we've seen in these other shows. It's also not immediately based on game mechanics, which is a plus. So yeah, I would highly recommend you check out the first episode because it is definitely good. And that ends with her killing this pretty innocent looking guy because, you know, he has a very destructive pure concept. It just has to be done. And then by the second episode, she has her next target, and her name is Akari. Now, she goes and assassinates Akari just as she usually would. However, she is brought back to life. So she's like, oh my god, she has healing magic. I guess she's just healed. And she just tries to kill her like several times. But she comes to realize that no, she does not have healing magic. She has a pure concept of time. So she can reverse time in different ways and turn herself back to living, no matter how much she tries to kill her. So ensues the journey of Menno and Akari, where Menno's keeping it a secret that she's trying to kill Akari because she doesn't remember. And Menno's trying to find out ways to kill Akari. Meanwhile, they're building quite a big friendship, and even they kind of tease it being actually more of a romantic connection. Both of them feel like as if it's fate that they've met each other during this situation. And yeah, there's a lot of teases that it's actually more of a romantic relationship that they have. And yeah, so it's I think it's a very interesting kind of show that we have not really watched too much of before. Like, it is isekai, but it has a little twist that I think is really engaging. And of course, the magic system is also very interesting too. So I feel like it is worth passing. And that would be The Executioner and Her Way of Life.
Oh my goodness.
That's a bingo.
No bingo.
And somehow I ended up using both of my passes on shows where people die and they come back to life several times. That's just one of the key points. So those are my shows this season.
All right, we have our 6 passes. Shield Hero Season 2, Aoashi, Summertime Render. It's ya boy, Kong Ming. The Executioner and Her Way of Life, and Heroines Run the Show. So, and now, with that said, there's a lot of shows that didn't get picked. I actually have already created the listener choice poll, so that's going to go up here very shortly. So if you are listening, wherever you're listening from, go check the website, check Discord, check social media. There will be links to the listener choice poll. If you use the website, it'll be right across the middle, right by the poll for the Waifu Wars. So, but you get to pick 3 anime as the listening audience that will also get reviewed, which will bring us to a total of 9. And we'll probably announce when the listener choice will be done here in about 2 weeks. I usually give it about 2 weeks, and then we snap the chalk line, and then we, announce the winner. So, any predictions on what the listener choice will be?
Oh boy,
Spy X Family is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You know what? I just don't think so.
What are your predictions, Mitz?
Oh, I don't know. I was just being a smartass. I'm sure Spy X Family would definitely get picked. So,
Spy Family, we're gonna go Comey Part 2, but I really hope, listener, that our views are probably gonna be a lot of just the same as Part 1, and you don't need us to do it. I think we don't need to review Part 2. I'm not gonna hate it. I'm just saying you already got that review. Nothing's gonna change. I'm going to go Aharon because you talked about how much you hated it. And I'm gonna go.
I'm having trouble remembering what we've had before.
I mean, my method is just to say that people will vote for what they've seen. So I'm gonna say.
What are you gonna say?
You say.
He's just writing notes. I'll say Dance Dancer.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Spy Family will get picked, and then Shikimori and Komi-san. Those are my guesses.
Yeah, I mean those are the most popular shows.
Spy Family, I think Shikimori. Ooh, that's her name, right? Shikimori.
Yep.
Yeah.
And maybe Birdie Wing, because I know a lot of people have been talking about it, and or like Dancer. But not gonna lie, I'm kind of hoping for Love After World Domination as well.
Wild card. Well, yeah. If you want to sell people on it,
I think it's gonna be Shin Ikitosen. We're gonna have with more panties and clothing exploding off of women than you can count. Shin Ikitosen. Let's make it happen. Come on. Come on. You know you want more Hakufu Sonsaku. Get in there with the Hakufu Sonsaku. Oh, you don't know Hakufu Sonsaku? Get the fuck out of here.
What?
Oh my goodness. With
kidding.
that was episode
guys,
628.
Yep, 628 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Guys, thanks so much for listening. If you want to follow us, you can do it on Twitter, where we are at AAA Podcast. We are on Facebook, of course. Discord. Check out Discord, which is the best place to pretty much keep up with everything we've got going on. That's our main hub for all communications with our listening audience. And
you can talk to them about your waifus.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to want to go on the Twitter, the Facebooks, the Discords, the website. Vote for your listener choice. Vote for your waifu wars. Listen, we give you guys a lot of opportunity to have your voice when you listen to this podcast. Not all podcasts do that. We do. So take advantage of it. We want you to. It helps us out because it makes the content more rich for all the listeners. And, of course, TikTok. Caroline just coming in there hot. She drops a piping hot TikTok for you there once in a while, so you don't want to miss out on that. And, of course, if you want to support the podcast, again, it's aapodcast.com/join or Patreon.
Tell me, over or under, how many jelly beans have I eaten this episode? Over or under 25?
Under.
Over 27.
Oh, geez.
All right, call me in December when you finish those.
Yep, I will.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
See you next week. See ya.